Travis Wayne Gitzel. So another day dawn is breaking. And if you've not been reading your scriptures to know Mormonism, as good Mormons should, my video got screwed up with my introduction, so I screwed this one up too. I was supposed to talk about lowriders, and California has released the ban on lowriders, so I'm wondering if this should be the theme song in the description below. So now that I've botched my intro, lowrider. You'll, for those of you who do study your scriptures, you'll come across Revelation 12, verse 1, with the footnote that takes you to the Joseph Smith translation. And in the Joseph Smith translation is added, sign in the heaven in the likeness of things on the earth. So last night's video, where I went over Oaks being the president of the church now, yeah, it's in the signs in the heavens during conference, the 30th and the 1st of October. You can see Mars, who I've already identified as Nelson way back in February of 2017 when he was at the Family Discovery Day in Salt Lake here. Mars was born of Virgo. That transition occurred in the sign in the heavens. And so even though Nelson fell on 9/11, conference is the official place for the church. And Oaks, therefore, was the leader of the church for that conference. As Nelson fell, literally, and for his birthday on 9/9 this year, the Perseid meteor showers fell from heaven, right there at Medusa's forehead. Anybody know their story of Daniel and Goliath? Or David and Goliath? How did I screw that up? And so, baby name meanings are important for Mormons to know, because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is all about the latter days. And the Jews used specific names in their stories to prophesy about the latter days and about their Christ. And so Dallin means from the valley, Salt Lake Valley. Harris means son of a home ruler. Home ruler, I had to do some checking, and means it's the governor of a colony, thus of the valley. Which valley? Salt Lake Valley. Oaks has unofficially fulfilled his baby name meaning. Is he going to get a new name? Like new name Noah? I had to do some checking on that. Obviously, it's Mike Norton, as Mary Snap exposed him. But regardless, if he's indicating that his new name that he got in the temple as before his mission is Noah, and that it doesn't have other symbolic meaning with the channel name, it means that he would have been in the temple on the 14th of the month, whichever month that was, in whichever year that was in the 80s. Because I haven't been able to find his birthday, and so it's unclear as to when he went on his mission at 19 years old, assuming that that's when he went on his mission, was at 19 years old. And I'm born and raised in the church, so obviously he therefore would have conformed and complied for the most part. But there are exceptions. being born and raised in the church myself, I'm aware of those exceptions. And so, yeah, I'm aware of my peers from church who chose not to go on missions, and those who went on their missions and lied to their bishops. And so forth and forever. And so, if you're not paying attention to the news either, because you just don't care about anything, there's Armageddon going on in Israel. And it's escalated with the false flag operation of Palestinian Islamic jihadists who bombed their own people at the hospital. And of course, that was designed specifically to blame Israel for, which is a common tactic of terrorists. Islam, in case you don't know, are all about sacrificing for Allah. And so in their religious belief system, if innocent people die during war, they're automatically exalted in the highest degree of the celestial kingdom. They get 72 virgins, child brides, rather than just 10 for the Mormon church. I had a Mormon comment. I have no clue where you're getting that from, Travis. There's nothing in Scripture that says we get 10 virgins. Section 132, dumbass. And so, study your scriptures. That's all you gotta do. And it's just too hard for Mormons. I'm too busy. I've gotta get a job so that I can pay tithing and figure out how to survive and pay for food, diapers, and rent and electricity, and because the tithing takes it all away. Well, just be glad it's not Brigham Young's tithing from section 119. Thank God it's the revised version. Of where everybody pays 10% from every source of income, regardless of whether it's illegal or not. And so, yeah, because of the hospital bombing, it got the desired result. Islamists all over the world are violently protesting against Israel and against Biden for going to Israel and not talking to Arab leaders. And so America is now under high alert because of the setup of this Palestinian Islamic jihadist group. They know what they're doing. They're professional terrorists. And so, yeah, it's sad to see United States press fall for the Islamic fraud that they're purposely trying to cause, trying to get people's sympathy by harming women and children and ignoring the fact that they started the bombing of Israel. And so, yeah, MSNBC I'm extremely upset with, as they're trying to blame Israel for the hospital, as well as blame Israel for defending themselves and women and children get hurt, ignoring the fact that Hamas ordered them to stay. When you support giving aid and comfort to an enemy, you are the enemy. And so the Red Cross and the UN peacekeepers They want to go in and give aid and comfort to the enemy. They're not wanting to go in and give aid and comfort to Israel. They are the enemy. And so, yes, Israel should be skeptical of these groups wanting to give aid and comfort to their enemy. Because the Red Cross and the UN peacekeepers are going in and using the people as shields to protect them from attacks, just like Hamas does. And they don't care. They don't see the effects of war because they weren't born during our wartime here in America. See, at Berkeley, they were protesting the war because they didn't want us in that war. It was a ridiculous war that the president purposely caused just to help improve the economy. Because we found out in World War II that, hey, war improves our economy. Pulled us out of the Great Depression. Yay! War is good. No. But anyway, we don't have a Speaker of the House. And it's from that group that was involved in the insurrection of America's coup. According to the 14th Amendment, they gotta go. But they're not gone, because the Department of Justice and the FBI are not holding them accountable. And so they stayed in, and guess what they've been doing? They are continuing the coup. And so the Supreme Court couped, overthrowing Roe v. Wade, which violates all women's rights in the 14th Amendment, Section 1. We are witnessing the overthrow of our Constitution in real time, and all Mormons should be fearing and trembling. But you're not paying attention. And so, Joseph Smith's second vision, the day that shall burn as an oven, on the 22nd of September. He gave us a specific date. And so, section 64 of the Doctrine and Covenants, check the date, 9/11. What does he talk about? He quotes from verse 40 of the Joseph Smith history, which was actually before the Joseph Smith history was written. And so this one is about section 84, which again, Joseph Smith is specifically using dates of when he gave this to warn Mormons, for those who pay attention. It was given at Kirtland, Ohio on September 22nd. And so, the New Jerusalem and the temple shall be built in, it's not Missouri, bros. Yeah, no, he's talking about different things here. Bros. The great deceiver. He's talking about the temple lot in Missouri, yes, but using that as a symbolism with September 22nd's dating to take you to his eventual Joseph Smith history account, which this was in 1832. And he doesn't do the Joseph Smith history until 1838. So this is 6 years before. So you got to pay attention to this. In the Joseph Smith papers, 19 July 1840, Joseph Smith tells you the majority of you think that the temple will be in Missouri. You're wrong. And then goes on to talk about Illinois. And he doesn't say the location in Illinois, but we know he tells us it's not Nauvoo, because he refers to Nauvoo also. And so that means that it's somewhere else to be built in Illinois. And by doing research and study, you learn that it's in southern Illinois, where X marks the spot of the crossroads of the sun god, the Christ of Mormons. And so, yeah, you have to be watching my videos, because you're having to start from scratch. And it's too late for you to try to catch up by beginning your study of the scriptures, in the learning of the Jews, removing all of your Christian bias that has blinded you from these prophecies that are blatantly right before your eyes, but you don't see them. It's like that picture that you stare at it long enough and you do eye manipulations, different angles, to try to see the hidden picture that's within. Well, that's Christian goggles that is blinding you from seeing the actual picture. And so that's what you need to understand here, is that he's talking about the temple in Missouri for the temple lot. There's a big scandal about that too, as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints doesn't care about the temple lot. It's Salt Lake City now, where the son of the home ruler of the valley is now I warned you, Oaks. I was waiting. And if this delay of the day that shall burn as an oven continues, I'm going to have to put back all the files so that I can do little video clips for you and do pictures and stuff. But yeah, I've been under cyber attack, and I've caught the YouTube Mormon employee getting it more extreme against me, as last night's video had to be put on twice because it just didn't show. Dear God. I mean, yeah, but he's supporting terrorism. I'm trying to warn you. And the YouTube Mormon employee is trying to silence and hide my videos so that you have to squint on my channel to find it. To see the picture within the picture. And so I don't think you guys fully understand the seriousness of the situation that is escalating around the world and in the United States now. Because there are some other things that I have planned to talk about. And so then he goes on and talks about the line of the priesthood from Moses to Adam. Now there's a trick in here, and Mormons have been confused on this, and the prophets never came out and explained it. Because there's a shifting that occurs, and you have to pay attention to the grammar that is used in order to understand what it means. And so people get confused on that, and they try to claim that Shem can't be Melchizedek because of the wording. No, he is still Melchizedek. Shem means the name. Who's the name? Emmanuel. Who's Emmanuel? Melchizedek. And so, yeah, when you get dumb people being popular with their opinions, you get a whole bunch of misinformation going around. And so then he talks about the greater priesthood, and then the lesser priesthood, and then men gain eternal life through the oath and covenant path of the priesthood. Notice Bruce doesn't say temple because Joseph doesn't say temple endowment. Who's the new name of the manual of Mormons? Told you. Nephi. Joseph tells you. Nephi. Who came to Joseph Smith in the second vision? Nephi, not Moroni. I should check to see if there was a Moroni, but I don't think there was. Where are you? Let's see if the Google search will cooperate. It was, but since I'm playing the camera, it's unclear as to whether or not I will have that. LDS Temple New Names. Alrighty. And there's Moses on the 4th, Nephi on the 6th, Lehi on the 7th, Noah on the 14th, Moroni on the 20th. So, yeah, you just go to timeanddate.com. Judas Priest rocks. Panic Attack. Their brand new song. Okay, we need 1989, according to prophecy. Because when Joseph Smith says he's going to be a Mormon, then you have to interpret all of Jewish prophecy as Joseph tells you to, as a Mormon. And thus, a whole new world. A whole new world opens up. And so, the 20th cannot be on a Monday. And so it's not February or March. The 20th in January is Friday. And so that's not it. We're looking for a 20th on a Saturday. May 20th. There we go. Except that the missionaries went out into the field on the 17th. Or it went into the MTC on the 17th of May. Oops. So it's not May. And nope. Can't be Moroni. This is how you figure things out, guys. And so yes, it's May 6th. That's when he went through. And yes, a sign in the heavens attended that as well. I did the videos. It's been a long time. The majority of you are new. I'm now over 3.2K videos on this channel. The other day it passed 3.2K, I noticed. And Spirit of Christ enlightens men, the world lies in sin. The saints must testify of those things they have received. So little kids of Mormonism are on the 22nd of October, 2 more days, Sunday, are going to be testifying of Jesus. They have received Jesus. So they're going to be testifying of receiving Jesus, not their little dolly. Not about their brother being mean. They are to preach the gospel. And the gospel means, by definition, God spell. It's a tale of a God. And so Joseph Smith is saying, hey, our God is the learning of the Jews. He's going to be a human. He's going to be a Mormon in the latter days. That's the tale that you are supposed to be preaching as a missionary. Oops. You're preaching a false Christ. And signs in the heaven shall follow. Of course, they list other signs too. But elders are to go forth with no purse. Sorry, elders, you can't take a purse. The five foolish virgins that I told you about the other month, who I met on tracks, the one sister missionary who was the more vocal towards me, the others were shy and silent. There was another one, though, who was trying to be friendly to me, but the one who was communicative was very apologetic, very insecure. She had no problems. And she's kind of confused, I think, because of this. But nonetheless, she was apologizing because she had 3 suitcases. That all of them had 3 suitcases. She was complaining that she had too much. But anyway, memories on the corner of my mind. And so, yeah, obviously it's not Purser script. You have to know the Greeks in the time of the Roman period to understand that. Lord will care for their needs. Plagues and cursings await those who reject the God spell. Which is very interesting because it's very close to his name, his surname. Emmanuel is the surname, in case you didn't know. Crossroads is his first name. Like Dallin is from the valley. The name of your Christ, Mormons, is from the crossroads. What crossroads? The sun god's crossroads. How does the sun god have crossroads? Well, when he's eclipsed, he casts a shadow on the earth, creates crossroads for the 3 days of darkness of the latter days. Ta-da! Forms the Paleo-Hebrew letter A and the last letter of Paleo-Hebrew. Yep, we're in it. And Mormons don't believe it because they got Christian goggles on. They don't see it. Everything's being fulfilled. And it's a tragedy because Mormons don't see it. And they don't understand that it's a tragedy. And so here we go. Is the new song of the Redemption of Zion. Elder Baxter wanted to make that song. He was my MTC companion and my last missionary companion. He was the first and the last with me. Very interesting. What are you doing, Elder Baxter? Where are you up to nowadays? But yeah, he wanted to compose the new song of the Redemption of Zion, but he failed. I apparently did it at a stake conference in West Valley. I just got inspired. Listening to the talks, and I get inspiration, and I compose the lyrics and even the notes for the lyrics. And it's crude because I didn't professionally learn this. I just did it on my own. So, yeah. The wife I had at the time had her piano, and so I was able to test it that way. And I still have it. The other song that I also composed at that same conference, I didn't compose it with music yet, but that's what I do. I get inspired and I do it. Let every man stand in his own office. And this is part of the authority issue that I've been talking to you about. You cannot have authority for someone out of your office, especially those who are above you. Brigham Young was a missionary. He has no authority to become the president of the church when the president of the church dies. That is not Joseph's succession process. That should have been blatantly obvious to every single Mormon. And yet, in 1838, Brigham Young couped the church. Had Joseph Smith framed for the Mormon War. got him locked up in Liberty Jail, and took over the church. But Joseph Smith got out, and thus 19 July 1840. Read it. It's awesome. He exposes Brigham. And one of my regular viewers has been trying to go over the scriptures with the learning of the Jews, and has found section 112 has a whole new meaning. See, it's real simple, guys. You just gotta do it. You're not doing it. You're being casual Mormons, lazy learners, and lax disciples. Right, Nelson? And then here's where we're going to get to. The Lord's servants are to proclaim the abomination of desolation of the last days. Is that what Mormons or missionaries are doing? Are you? Notice how the whole theme ties into missionaries. That's just from my mind, not scripted, just from my mind. That's how I work. That's how I roll. Lowrider. I'm from Southern California. I know all about the lowriders. Section 111 is wrong, Bruce. What are you doing? I mean, yeah, the high priest should travel, and also the elders and lesser priests. But you're stretching it, Bruce. So 112, we have the Danite Bishop Newell K. Whitney of section 117, infamy. It's not the Nicolaitan band. Give you a hint there. And where is he located? Oh, right near Adam-on-Diamond, where Benjamin Franklin Johnson moved his family to and was arrested and forced to deny the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Are you sure that's the right name of the church? And so, also should travel around among the churches, searching for the poor to administer their wants by humbling the rich and the proud. This is not what bishops do in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is it? The bishop are to seek out the poor. They don't sit on their thrones at church and wait for the poor to come begging for them to grant them food assistance or financial assistance. Because it says poor, it doesn't say hungry. When you say poor, it's understood that they're also hungry. The bishop is to take care of the poor financially and with food and hygiene and anything else they need so that they're not poor. You don't keep giving them a fish every day. And you especially don't extort them to work for it. They are poor. Slavery is where you force the poor to work as they continue to be poor for the rest of their lives. That's what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is doing. They're not following the scriptures. So, there, that was a tangent, wasn't it? So remember, September 22nd was when this was given. Do his secular business as an agent. Secret agent man. And the bishop should go to the city of New York. And this is how I figured this out, because when I heard about Chicago having problems, I was going, is there something about Chicago in the scriptures? No, it was Boston. And the city of Boston. And warn the people of those cities with the sound of the tale of the Mormon God in the latter days, with a loud voice of the desolation and utter abolishment which await them if they do reject these things. That's the bishop, K. Whitney. Wait a minute. Oopsies. He would go on to be condemned. It's actually a forged document by the Danites, who claimed that Newell K. Whitney was being condemned by Joseph for being a Danite. Those sneaky terrorists doing a false flag operation to get the wrong people blamed. For if they do reject these things, the hour of their judgment is nigh. And so, yes, I'm kind of wondering about Albany. Albany is nothing these days. Nobody cares about Albany. New York, Boston? Sure. Albany? I don't know. And so, yes, this is the day that shall burn as an oven that he's talking about. In major cities in the East Coast back then. So, yes, you're not going to find Los Angeles here. Major cities in the United States are to be understood from this and are going to be in jeopardy. And so, yes, Chicago under extreme pressure right now. New York under extreme pressure right now. The Washington, D.C. under pressure right now. We're all under high alert for an all-out war in America, as Christians are not stepping up to defend against the Islamic terrorists. Isn't this your land for your God? You're just going to let Islam control America with the squad? God. And so, if they do reject these things, the hour of their judgment is nigh, and their house shall be left unto them desolate. I've told you the map of Salt Lake, of the Islamic centers. They have some over in the East Coast, but then in the West Coast, it's mostly in the valley of Dallin. The valley of Dallin. Valley of the Giant. Jolly Green Giant. And I'm referring not to the commercials that I saw back in the 70s and 80s, but the movie Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and the Speed Girl and the Miss America woman. Can't remember her name. It's frustrating because I know it's Sandra Bullock. There we go. They're singing that commercial because that's what Zion does. Because regular music is evil and apostate, so you can only listen to commercials. Let him trust in me, and he shall not be confounded, and a hair of his head shall not fall to the ground unnoticed. Notice that? It's not that a hair of the head won't fall from our heads. It's that we'll notice every single hair that falls. Yep. But at least it means that we're strength in the loins and in the sinews. That was the only comfort that I had from that. Plus the fact that this is my mom's father's hair. Baldness pattern. And my dad told me about it when I was just a kid, cutting my hair. Okay, so the rest of my servants, go ye forth as your circumstances permit, several callings unto the great and notable cities and villages, reproving the world in righteousness of all their unrighteousness. See, when you tell Mormons they're wicked, they get mad. They don't like that. You gotta pacify and flatter and deceive them. That gets them to respond. And ungodly deeds, setting forth clearly and understandingly the desolation of abomination in the last days. America will be under attack. For I, the Lord Almighty, will rend their kingdoms. Joseph Smith goes on in other places to say that, Joseph Smith history, they that come shall burn them. That's the Abomination of Desolations. Joseph Smith adds in 1838. And thus, this needs to be understood in that context, because Joseph Smith says it after this. And so, it's not the Lord Almighty who will rend their kingdoms. It's they that come shall burn them. And thanks to Armageddon, we now know who they that come shall burn them. Islam. Ta-da! Islam must stand down. They won't, because they blame Israel. And Biden supported Israel. And MAGA in Congress are holding America hostage, making us vulnerable to Islam. Now, do you see the bigger picture? They've told us that this was what they were going to do years before. And now they're doing it. This was a plot. MAGA are the terrorists in America. And the Democrats are literally acting like the deep state, as they're not holding the MAGA responsible, removing them from office, according to the 14th Amendment. We are in a crisis. Our government has been couped. The Constitution has been overthrown. Civil war is at the brink. There will be no Jesus, because it's the Jewish scriptures with the Jewish interpretation, thus the Jewish Christ. I can't understand why Christians in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can't understand this simple thing, other than they're racist. And so, I will not only shake the earth, but the starry heavens shall tremble. Stars fall from heaven. Put my hand to exert the powers of heavens, and I will see it and know that I am, and that I will come and reign with the church of the Lamb. He doesn't reign over the whole earth. Over the whole earth. Do you notice that? See, the kingdoms of the world will fall, but He, our Christ, has no interest in ruling the world. Everybody else wants to rule the world, right? Tears for Fears. But the Christ is only to save Mormons who want Joseph's church back, which was a restoration of King David's church of the 18th dynasty Egyptian pharaohs, with Amun the sun god at noonday. And so thus he signs it, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. And I told you about that in Paleo-Hebrew, not Greek. That's Greek. See, Omega in Greek is the sun rising or setting. That's the symbol of it. I have not found anybody who knows this, so I deciphered it. Ta-da! It's real simple. I don't know why anybody else couldn't figure it out. The original Paleo-Greek used the Egyptian sun with the dot in the middle. And so I don't know why nobody could figure out that Omega, replacing that symbol, is also the sun, but with the little things on the ends, means it's at the horizon for the rising and setting sun. And since it's placed at the end of the alphabet in Koine Greek, therefore it's the setting sun, but also the rising sun, as we then start all over again with the alphabet of Aleph, or Alpha. And so, yeah, they're trying to teach you something with their alphabet, far more than phonetics. So, yeah, and that's the cross in Paleo-Hebrew, which people have used Babylonian Semitic replacement Hebrew to claim that it's Tau, which is a T. But no, it's the Chi in Greek. So there you have it. A whole new language. And yeah, there's the Old Testament section that talks about a new language. Did it all. I get inspired and I do things.